Hello friend, my name is Rian, your tech maestro at Azure DevOps Pulse. In our last session, we have learned about Terraform multiple providers, and in today's video, we are gonna be learning about Terraform resources. Like we have such as Terraform Language Basics, or resource syntax, Terraform behavior, Terraform state, and we have meta arguments such as count, depends on, forest, and lifecycle. So everything we are gonna learn from as we go along, right? So as you can see, the first one we have that is your Terraform resource syntax. Let's understand the first one. So when it comes to the Terraform basic, right? Terraform language basics, what we can understand is here that whenever you want to create any resources, right, in your uh, like using Terraform, let's say, but in our case, we are gonna be giving some example for Azure related, not with AWS, because this course is basically designed for Azure itself. So I will always mention Azure itself instead of AWS also. Okay, but in your case, you can clearly like that Azure. So, so whenever you want to create any resources in your cloud provider, that is your Azure or anything, right? First thing always you have to give this is your this thing, right? What you call the block type. Block type means this is the this if you see this is called as your block type. Under block type, what in block type what we have, this is also called as your block label. Whenever you want to create any resources, right? You have to give first this one. If you want to create any resources, this is the first thing. Resource, then this all together is Azure RM resource group and then my RG all together call as block level. Okay, but if you just call, if you can till here, right? Azure RM resource group till here, you can also call as this is called as resource type because the type of the resource is your resource group, right? So this is your resource type. And if you see just this one, right, that is your my RG. My RG also call as your only this one also call as your local reference or reference name. Okay, I can call as reference name. So we will learn as we learn along. Okay, and if you see all this is called as argument. Let's say under this one, meaning under this block type, you have you this is about the resource group, right? You will have this one that is your key and value. I can call identifier and the expression. This on the right, in the left side, known as your identifier, and on the right side, you call as expression, or also you can call it as argument value, and you can also call in the right side argument um, key. Okay, so you can in a simple way you can call as the identifier. The for this no name called as identifier, and this value called as your expression. Same for the second one also. This is your identifier and this is your the expression. And all together known as your argument. I hope this is clear, team. Now, the top level block inside block in the sense when I say the top level block, let's say resources and providers I have already discussed in our last sessions, so you can just check that video. So providers means this is our Azure RM is your provider, right? So, or it's basically the could be Azure or AWS or GCP, whatever. So in our case, Azure, that is your provider. Okay. In this case, it will be a top level block. And a resource means, let's say when you want to create any resource, this is your resource group, right? You want to create any resources, you need to use this. This is your the block type. Okay. And when I say the block inside block, meaning what it's simple meaning that uh, basically if you see this one this resource being let's say created now, okay, this is being already created. Now after this one you want to add the tag, right? You want to add a tag, additional things where you want to perform basically. So in this case, this like example, provisioners resource specify block like tags. Provisioners also one of the things like after creation, I mean not after creation, additionally you want to add tag as well, right? So this is your block inside block that we are gonna show you how we can use that as well. And when I say the provisioners, in simple words, like let's say you have created the virtual machine. This is not a virtual machine, this is a resource group. Just giving an example. Let's say you are going to create a virtual machine now. Okay. Now, after creation of the virtual machines, you want to uh, install some tools. Let's say in our case, it is a suppose or maybe any kind of or maybe you want to run some script, whatever situation it could be. Okay. Now, what we can do is we can use a provisioner that will help you to run the script or maybe to do some action after creation of your virtual machines or maybe resources, right? So yeah, and here you mentioned based on the block type. So it means based on this block type. Okay, based on block type, block labels will be one or two. So one the block based on this resource block type can have one or two labels. So example, in our case, this is a one level, right? Let's say you have a and for example resource. Okay, in resource we have two levels. Okay, in resource we have two level. This is a one. This is one level, another two level. This is second level. Okay, first level till here. So if you see the right, this is second level. Same, if but if you talk about the variables, we can only have one levels. So we will learn that as well as we learn along, right? All right. Now second is your that okay. This is also same thing, language basics, right? So as you can see here, the when you want to create resources, this also call as you like I mentioned before, argument name also you can call or you can call as a identifier, which I mentioned already. This basically only on the left side. This name is your individual or each value key what we have key on the left side what you see that is your name call as your key and on the left side what you see here sorry on the right side what you can see here is your value, right? So also this name also can be called as identifier. On the left right side what you see the my rg1 can be called as your expressions. Okay, same thing, this is also another identifier or you can also call as argument name. Okay, these all are unique argument name or unique identifier. Okay, same thing on the right side what you see here this is again the value, right? So this can be called as expression or argument value. Okay, you can see here also argument value or expression. So that means anything what you see on your left side, the first one that is your name is your identifier and location is also your identifier, and on the right side what you see the value basically that can be called as argument name value or expressions. So I hope this is clear, team. Now let's go with the next one. So let's understand the resource syntax, right? Let's understand the first one. So this is like I mentioned, whenever I create any resources, I need to use the resource, this one, right? This is the block type, right? And anything what you see inside here, right? If you see here, Azure RM resource group, till here, it also called as basically which is a resource type, like I mentioned already. Till here, because this basically resource block type, right? So this I'm going to define type of my resource. In my case, it is a resource group, right? That is why this is called as resource type. What it does basically, resource type basically it determines the kind of infrastructure object it manages and what arguments and other attributes the resource supports, right? So as we all know, so whenever like I mentioned resource group means basically we'll have some uh, their infrastructure objects, right? And this is second part, this is your the local which I mentioned. We can call as your reference name or we can call as your resource local name or local name. Okay, it is used to refer to the resource from elsewhere in the same Terraform modules but has no significance outside that module scope. The resource type and the name together serve as an identifier for a given resource and so must be unique within a module. So it basically is just like a you can think of bucket, okay, where um, what you say or you can call a kind of container something. Let's just give an example of container. Okay, in container you give some container here, and if you give this container with this name, you keep this one, you call by this container name, but what value you want, let's say in our case name is equal to, we given as my rg2, right? If you call by this name, whatever name this can, if you can see now the same name been updated, but you can change this name anything. What if you call by this names, whatever you change here, this will be call. Example, if you call by this name here, if you say my, let's say my rg10 mean, the 10 value will be false, or it will be a call. Okay, same thing. This is for the resource group. Okay, it should be unique, but it should be unique. You can have same local name in everywhere. So you, if within the same machine, it should have the configuration. You can only have one what you call local name. Okay, you can have same name in multiple places because this should be unique. Now, all right. Now, meta argument, as we all know, I have already discussed as well. Meta argument can be used with any resource to change the behavior of resources. Meaning, as we have already discussed in the earlier sessions as well, about our providers. So in our providers, if you remember last time we have added the provider that is your, and with the alias name, then provider name, right? Sorry, alias provider name dot alias name, whatever you given. So in that meanings, for this particular region that is East US, sorry, West US, two resource group will be created, right? In this, what we can do is we can use, this is one of the way of this basically this is also to change the behavior of your Terraform. Basically, Terraform has their own way of handling when comes to dealing with the resources, right? So in your case, let's say by default, if you see here, two resource common is equal to two. This is also your meta argument. Okay, two meaning now in this particular region, by default, basically, whenever I run a script, you can only have one resource group or maybe one resource group, right, with the one script. But in your case, let's if I want to have a 20 of resource group at the same time, I want to create, or maybe virtual machines, or maybe anything, any resources. Okay. So how are you going to manage it, right? This is when it will help, the meta argument can help you to change the behavior of the Terraform. Meaning, now based on your requirement, now you can modify that code based on the meta argument. What you define in our case, that is your count is equal to 2, meaning two resource group in this particular region will be created. I hope this is clear, team. Now, resource arguments will be specified to resource type. Argument values can make use of expressions or other Terraform dynamic language features. So, like I mean, this is your the expression. Okay, so we can have a dynamic way. So what we can do is let's see what, then we will have to learn about your Terraform resource behavior. Okay, so when comes to the Terraform resource behavior, like I mentioned already, Terraform, whenever they deal with any kind of resources, or whenever you deal with the Terraform, right, Terraform manages their own way of, they have own way, they have their own behavior while dealing with the resources, right? So in your case, if you want to deal with based on your requirement, or you want to change some behavior of your Terraform this thing, so this is when the Terraform behavior, we have many things which to be learned, so we can change that behavior as well. For example, create resource, right? So create resources that exist in configuration but no, but are not associated with real infrastructure in object in the state. Meaning, simple example, let's say you have created the virtual machine now. Okay, now main configuration is there now. Okay, the resource exists in your configuration file, it is there, but it is not there in your, what do you call it, real infrastructure, in the sense in your Azure cloud it is not available. Okay, if you see here, but are not associated with a real infrastructure object in the state. In the sense, state file, as we all know, whenever we use the Terraform apply commands by default, once the resource being deployed successfully, the state file will be created, right? Terraform state file. So that is what I try to say. So if as we all know, whenever you want to create any resources file, you need to basically write a Terraform configuration file or Terraform code basically, right? Once it is ready, but it is still not being deployed in your cloud, in our case Azure, right? So, but what happened in this case? This is what in real infrastructure, in nothing but in your cloud infrastructure. Okay, so that is when it by default, sorry, then what you can do is the infrastructure will be created. Okay, and the second one is your destroy resources. Destroy resources that exist in a state but no longer exist in the configuration. So if you this is also one of the thing. And B also what I'll do, I think I will show you some hands-on. When I do hands-on, I am going to show you everything. For now, I just understand this one, okay? And we have update in place resources. Example, update in place where, whose argument have changed. Example, you have created a resource group. Sorry, let's say you have created, okay, let's say virtual machine created now, okay? Now after creation of the virtual machine now, let's say you want to change the size or maybe something you want to edit, right? In this case, what will happen is the in this case the it will be updated in place. Okay, meaning whatever changes you have updated in your Terraform code, it will be added to your cloud infrastructure. And we also have a destroy and recreate. Okay, let's say here as you can see here, destroy and recreate resources whose argument have changed but which cannot be updated in place due to the remote API limitation. Certain things which we need to understand is that there is some due to the remote API limitations. Sometimes what happens is whenever we try to recreate basically the recreate the server, it first destroys and it will recreate freshly or newly. Okay. Then everything if you see whenever we run, we have a Terraform state file. That information you have is like a metadata of your infrastructure. Okay. Terraform state. Let's understand basic what we need to understand. When I say that Terraform state, okay, what we need to understand here. The first one, let me give a small like example. Let's understand this one first. Terraform must store state about your managed infrastructure and configurations. Managed infrastructure means what is there in your cloud. Okay, and this state is used by Terraform to map real world resources. Okay, to your configuration on TFS, meaning this is your configuration file with your real infrastructure in the sense, sorry, real world resource, nothing but your cloud in your Azure in our case. Okay, keep track of metadata. Okay, it will keep track of your metadata to improve performance for large infrastructure. Okay, and this state is stored by default in a local file name called as terraform.tf state. By default, whenever it will be stored, the file name will be by default it will be terraform.tf state. But it can also be stored remotely, which works better in a team environment. Example, right now, like I mentioned, if you can see here, this basic alt Terraform state file, if you run the Terraform init commands by default, the it will store in your local system, right? That is not actually being which is not encouraged because for some reason if you crash your system or maybe if you're working with a team, let's say you have a two maybe more than two people or let's say three, four, five people, whatever number of people, how are you going to manage that one, right? So it is always good to centralize, basically keep your terraform.tf state, basically the state file somewhere in your centralized location. So in our case, when it comes to the Azure Terraform, we can use the storage account. So we are going to explain that as well. Okay. And the purpose of the primary purpose of Terraform state is to store bindings between objects in a remote system and the resource instance declared in your configurations. When Terraform creates a remote object in a response to a change of configurations, it will record the identity of the remote object against a particular resource instance. and then potentially update or delete the object in response to features or configuration changes. So what I can do, let me just give a small workflow here. I have already discussed this one, but I think it is important for everyone, every one of us to understand. All right. So let's understand. You are as a Terraform admin now. Okay. Now you are working with your in your basically local desktop or local system. In your local system, what you did was you have installed Terraform CLI in your local system. You have installed it. As soon as you install this one, you will have definitely basically you will write the code, right? The Terraform configuration file you will be writing based on your requirement. Let's say you want to create resource group or storage account or load balancer or virtual machine, whatever it is. You're gonna write the script in Terraform script basically, right? Then as soon as the Terraform script is ready, um, what you do is you are gonna run Terraform init. So for the first time when you run the Terraform init commands, right, it will go directly to your Terraform registry. It will go there and download providers. In the sense, provider of what? That is your, in our case, provider is nothing, providers for which one? We are dealing with the Azure, right? So Azure provider basically. That is your Azure RM. Azure Resource Manager provider will be downloaded. As soon as you download it from, it will directly go to your registry, that is your Terraform registry, and download the provider, that is your Azure RM providers. Once it is downloaded, okay. So once you can see the providers downloaded, okay, then what will happen is you will have a plan, right? So we sorry validator. In validator, what happens now? Whatever changes, not changes, basically whatever configuration you have basically available in your Terraform configuration file, they will try to see whether your code is synthetically correct or whether it is consistent as well, right? They will check that one. If there is any issue with your code, you will get an error stating that this particular where you need to improve or you need to correct it. Okay. Once you have done the validation part, then third is your Terraform plan. Okay. So in Terraform plan, basically, what it basically does is that Terraform plan, right? So in Terraform plan, if you see basically the time this provider, basically this is your the Azure provider that they will try to authenticate with your basically the Azure CLI with your uh, Azure provider will try to authenticate whether they try to authenticate first. Once authentication is successful, then they will give a kind of what based on the configuration what you have done in your Terraform configuration, whatever you have done. Based on that, they'll give you like a blueprint in the sense this will give you kind of high level of things which you can see like what kind of resource going to be created in which region, what is the type of the resources, basically the information of the resources to be created based on what you define in your configuration file, in your Terraform configuration file. Okay. All right. So this is done. Then based on once it is done, then what it will do is it will apply Terraform apply. Terraform apply means now whatever configuration you have, like I mentioned, the same based on that, the authentication already done in your plan phase. Then this will try to create the resources based on what is been uh, configure in your Terraform configuration file or available code in your configuration file. Okay. Then let's say after this done, when we want to destroy the Terraform code, basically, if you see Terraform using the Terraform destroy commands, let's say you have let's say you have created okay using the apply you have deployed everything now. Now you want to destroy this one. Let's say virtual machines or maybe this thing what you call that public IP, then network interface, resource group, whatever is basically any resources. Okay, if you want to destroy this thing, what will do first thing? Whenever you run the first time whenever you run the terraform dot up sorry not dot terraform apply commands or basically whenever using the terraform apply whenever the resource being successfully deployed in your cloud infrastructure by default this terraform dot tf state will be created. This is your the Terraform state file. Okay, this will be created. This will be created when you run this command. That is your Terraform apply commands. Okay, basically what it contains, let's say you have now you have a code all this like whatever, let's say virtual network sharpener, a public IP address, interface, resource group, whatever is there, this was defined in your configuration file, that is your Terraform configuration file. Okay, so now you want to deploy this one using the Terraform apply command, let's say. Now once it is being successfully deployed, now you could see the infrastructure in your cloud. Now once this thing, now you let's say you want to delete these resources or destroy the all the resources. Okay, whatever being deployed, basically you want to delete or destroy. What will happen is that by default, whenever I run this command, that is your Terraform apply, this, that is your Terraform state file, will be created, name as terraform.txt will be created in your local system. Or in your case, if you want to manage in your remote cases, let's say storage account, that is also possible. But somewhere it will be, it could be local or the remote based on what you define. Okay, the terraform.txt will be created. So I hope this is clear, team, now. Okay. Now, once it is cleared, shape file is created. This basically it contains the infrastructure, whatever you have deployed in your cloud. This all the information basically you will have here in your terraform.txt. Okay. And once when you try to destroy using the terraform destroy commands, what happens? Like I mentioned, the terraform.txt will be available. It contains the information of your cloud infrastructure. Basically, it's just like a metadata. Okay. Now, when you want to destroy, what happens? First of all, before getting destroy this all the resources in your cloud, first what will do? Terraform will take care. What will do first thing? The Terraform will first take the backup of this one. That is your terraform.txt dot backup with extension. It will be, if you see now, dot terraform dot txt. It will be dot backup. Okay, it will be dot backup. You will get a extension. It will be taken backup of this existing state file. Once it is taken successfully, the backup, basically the backup of your existing state file, what will do? They are trying to destroy them. Once it has been successfully destroyed, okay, then what will do is it will again whatever changes you have done here in terraform.txt, it will be updated back again. In the sense now you have destroyed, mean you do not have any resource existing in your cloud, so it will be null here. Okay, but the, like I mentioned, one more, during the destroy, there is one more file called terraform.txt.backup, right? This should be created. Then that time, whatever you have in your cloud, basically you will be updated there. Basically, same copy of your existing and move to your another, that is your back as a backup, so that if anything goes wrong also in future, you can check it. So So we need to understand two things here, team. So I'm going to give a small demo here so that it will help you understand. All right. So we need to understand the desired and the current Terraform state. When I say that desired state means desired and current state. When I say the Terraform configuration files, if you see anything, you see that this is called as your desired state. In the sense, whatever code you have in your cloud, or maybe not cloud, basically anywhere you have a code, let's say, okay, basically whatever you have written the code, Terraform code, is called your desired state. Okay, and if you see real world resources is nothing but current state. Current state is something, the resource what is existing in your actual cloud infrastructure, that is in our case Azure. If you see here, this is in Azure. Okay, like that. So what I can do is, now what we are going to do is, we are not going to merge into another level. What I'm going to do is, till now I think we are good enough. I'm going to give a small demo so that it will help you understand. All right. So let me, I have a code now. Uh, okay. First, let me give a small listen. This is your provider. This is your provider, right? If you see here, I have multiple. What I can do is I can remove this one. I don't want this one. Okay. This is a provider. The question, how can I get this provider also? You can check it if you want. If you want to try this one also. First thing, whenever I want to create any resources, provider is must. How will I get the providers now? Let me go back to the. to uh, just type Terraform provider. Okay, if when I click Terraform provider, as soon as I click, in our case, as we our provider is Azure, right? So we will select Azure. Okay, this is you can see multiple providers. In our case, Azure. Let me click. As soon as I click here, if you can see providers, I can see here. This is here my provider. I'm not going to explain much. I will explain later for but yeah, just to show you for now. Okay, and this is the provider details you have got now. This is the latest till now. It is a version. If you want, you can check here also how you can see here. Let's say if you see here 3.90. If you see here, same thing. This was updated. I think so. Yes, this one. And if you see here, there is a required version. It is not there. What you do? You just click here. Just put cursor there. Put here. Just type here require. Just R you type. Then you can see they'll give you suggestions. Okay. Record providers. In our case, record providers. If you, sorry, not provider, record version. Okay. So as we know, the version in our case, I can give anything. Or if you're not sure, what you do in our case, if you're kind of sure with, you can check it. If you want, you can change also based on it. Let's say in our case, this is basically your CLI. Okay, Terraform CLI, Terraform version. Okay. Okay, this is the version right now. So if I say anything that is greater than this number, if you this one, also fine. So that will take the latest one. So if I see here, I can change here. Okay, you have to remove this thing because they given this thing. Okay, so that's how you can get it. And if you want this one for now, we don't want to give any kind of what I call argument now, meta argument. For now, what I'll just give just features so that I can maybe do on this one. I can just say it like that as well. Okay. For now, I'm okay with this one. So same as what we see here now. Okay. So then I think this is clear, team. Now you understand how to run the what you call provider. Basically, how to get a provider, right? Let me delete now. Okay, this is good. Second is your credential. In our case, I create a I create variables, local variables. This is my username and this is my password. How to get this one as we learn slowly. I'm going to explain anyway in details. For now, you just understand. I have defined local variables, okay? And this is the actual code, basically where I want to create the resource group along with I want to create all the VMs. So how I can get this information also? I will anyway. What I'll do is I'm just going to give a small listing now. For now, I'm not going to explain much in details. So what I'll do is maybe I will take a proper class basically for this one. I'm gonna explain is everything how I can write how to write this kind of script, right? So that will help you understand better. So for now, just understand this much. I have a code that is users group. Now you understood. This is a block type. This is your block level. Okay, and block level in the sense this is all called as a block level. And if you just sit till here, also call as your what do you call this is resource type. Okay, and this is the type of the resource that is the resource group. So block type, and this is called as a local name or reference name, and this is the name. So if you call by this name, whatever value given here, name as resource group name as this one, it will be called created. In our case this one, right, it will be created. Then location, how I get this one, how this is another, I use a variable. How can I use a variable? If you see here, see this location, right? Yes, if you see here variable, if you I mention you can have only the one block type. Okay, block label, I mean this is in variable. If you remember last in our last this thing, what I call, we have discussed about this also, right? That is your variables. In this you can have only one level. Okay, block level you can have only one here in variable, and this is a type, that is a string. and default what is the location. So if you give this variable, that means I don't want to always mention this particular location name, right? So that is what I'll do. I'll just copy this name, not basically this variable name in our case. If you see, this is the variable name, right? That is Azure Resource Group dot locations, and this is coming from the variable file. So that is why if you see here, what I did was, if you see here, okay, where var is nothing but variable dot, then name of the variable name. In our case, this is the one which we define. So if you see here, let me show you once again, just to be sure, like that. If you see here, variable name I given as this one, right? So with variable name I'm calling. So whatever default name you given, it will be called. So let's say if I had to, why I'm using this variable, because same variable, let's say same location, if I had to create call, or if I had to use in multiple cases, multiple places. Let's say I want to create sorry, I want to use same locations in while creating virtual machines or storage account or anywhere, right? I can always mention the same name, right? This is not a flexible way. So instead of this, what I can do is I can just use the variable and with the location name. So what you do now, if you call with this name, you directly simply what you do, you just come and change your, if you want to change some of the location, and once you change this thing, whatever you mention this name, everywhere you see the same resource group name, it will be updated by default. So that's one of the biggest advantage of using your variable. Okay, so I think this is clear, team. Now same thing if I talk about the storage account, I think. And one thing I'm going to just give you a small hint, how we can create these kind of resources. Let's say storage account, how I can create, right? Let me just copy. I'll just try with this name. Okay, this is your the resource type. As you are in provider name, the resource type. If I click here, let me close this as well. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you. If you're not sure how to create, what you do, there is an option. Like if you see you get confused which one to refer, right? Let's say resource storage account. This is a storage account. We can take this option also. But if you're not sure, what you can do is there is an option called as the argument, right? You simply click here. If you click argument, uh, basically what it means, basically it will on this is something that is must. Mean if you see anything, name is must, right? Require. Then resource group name also required. Then location also required. And account is this is account kind as this is also optional. Optional mean don't have to. But by default, if you don't define by default, it will be created as the storage account V2 version 2. So that you need to understand. So and also let's say if you want to add this is the some of the things where you must mention, that is your name, this is group name, location. These three are option, I mean compulsory, you need to give it, you need to mention in your configuration file. Rest if you want you can change it, I mean you can update it based on your requirement. Let's say you have so many other things, right? That if you want you just take a look, go through the documents and understand and see what you want. Based on that you can define. Anyway, I'm going to give another demo for that. For now you don't have to understand much. For now just understand what we explain. Okay, all right. So I think this is clear now. Now what we can do is I'm going to then I create a bnet and I create a subnet, I create the public IP so that I can access. Okay, what I'll do is then I have virtual machines, I have the um, code, that is your Terraform configuration file, and then sorry, this is about the virtual machines. Okay, creating all the details you can get it. And if you see here the username password I given as a local dot username, local dot password, in the sense because this is a local variable. If you see here local dot username, I can just check here, I can say local dot username dot password, whatever name it will take it. So what I'll do, I am not going to explain much for now this code basically. Anyway, I have a separate session for this one. I'm just going to run the script now. Let's see what happens. So what I do, Okay, now I'll just go with the I think I have the code here somewhere. I kept this. Okay, I think okay here only. Okay, this is same code what is available in your this thing. The reason why I open this one is that I can showcase, I can show you then. That is why. Okay, let me run Terraform init. If you just notice them, you don't have anything right now. You don't have any file. Only we have this four. Okay, so see somewhere what it did was the argument name record version is not expected here. Did you mean record version? Maybe something wrong with my. Let me check record versions. Where is the provider? Okay, here. Okay, I think spelling. Oh, spelling is wrong. Spelling is wrong. It is not version. I don't know how the spelling got mistake. Anyway, uh, okay. So now this should be fine. Now let me save this one. I mean, let me just go here, save it. Okay, ignore this thing. Some mistake with the spelling. Anyway, as soon as I click the Terraform init, what it will do is that it will first now let me put for charging. Okay, so as you can see now, the Terraform basically initializations happen. It would say initialize the provider plugins. Okay, and now if you see here, okay, here if you see here, this got updated. That is your Terraform log files. Okay, then we have a provider plugins. This is a provider basically Terraform provider got updated. If you see here, you can see right Azure Hasiko, then Azure RM. So there is this. If you see, you can see the version of the provider. You can see version. This is 3.90. Same thing if you see here. This is current 3.90. So the latest one got updated. Basically not updated, it is got downloaded. Okay. So this is happening only for the first time. So then second is that this will be a provider will be downloaded and in your log file basically this is your terraform.log.html. What it contains basically it contains the information of your provider. Let's say if you see here this contains your this will be automatically maintained by this one terraform init. Okay, and if you see the version it contains the provider version and it constraints means what you define in your providers. You see if you see here right on the record providers anything greater than this one, so that is why the latest got updated. And this basically this use the hash algorithm. Okay, so let's say if you have an issue with your terraform configurations or anything, right, this can help you or to troubleshoot. Let's say today the latest version is your 3.90, right? After let's say just let me show you. Let's say after if she every 9 days or 16 days or 22 days it keeps changing. Basically, every 2 weeks or 1 week it keeps on updating. Okay, that is why it is important for us to understand this one. So let's say today in this version that is 3.90, you have done some configurations and it was deployed. Let's say after 1 month or 2 months, if you try to use same this thing, might have some kind of this thing. That is why we have to mention this one. This constant should be you have to define based on the how complexity and how risks basically the application critical set the service. Based on that, you need to give the constants ID. In our case, this is just for the testing, so I don't have an issue. So I am using anything that is greater than 2.0. That means that is 3, no? Let us so it took the latest one. Okay. So fine team. So I hope this is clear. Now this is clear now. I can run if you want Terraform validate validate. This is success. Terraform validate basically they will check the configuration what you mentioned in your configuration file anywhere. If there is any issue in your configuration file and they will check whether it is any syntactically error or maybe any kind of consistency or not, they will check everything. Let's say if I try to let's say credential, let's say if I try to let me do some configuration provider, let me here let me do something, let's say hash, let's see. Okay, if I give like this, try to save something I did actually wrongly, okay, then we will get to know what issue we can face. Let me see here. As soon as because there was an issue with this one, no, the code what the syntax is not correct, so it is an unsupported block type. What you given the block type is not, now it asks me the block 13 number. If you see here, this is a 13, right? Somewhere it is like here. Okay, line number. What is the name of the on provider.tf? So provider.tf is this one, right? So it will give you complete, uh, picture where the issue is. So you can verify and it's based on the request. Now if I try to change and then modify, I mean update it. Let me see once again. Then it will be okay. Now okay. Now if I run Terraform plan, now this Terraform plan will basically try to authenticate with your provider, that is your Azure. Okay. Terraform will try to authenticate with your Azure provider, and they will try then based on then whatever you configure in your configuration file. Let's say in our case, this virtual machines, network interface or subnet, bnet, everything. You get an error. I mean, you get an message now. It's just like a blueprint where you can see everything what is going to be deployed or which is what is going to be created. Okay, it is taking time. Sometimes you just need to wait for some time. I don't know why it's taking time, but anyway. Oh my God, it is taking so much of time. Anyway, all right, team. So as you can see here now, we have basically got all the output. What is going to be created? You can see, right? Everything. This is full complete virtual machine details. If you see here, you can see here. Okay, as your resource group, sorry, virtual machine will be created. All details. Same thing. You get to see everything. Let's say from here, right? You can see that the Terraform will perform the following action. First thing, it will get this NIC, and then it will create the NIC and also the public IP address and the resource group Okay, if you just notice your resource group, if you just resource group be given as a myrg, and but actual name got this one. Okay, so same thing in the storage account. So basically, whatever you have defined in your configuration file in your Terraform file, uh, those will be created based on what you define. Okay, then what we can do is we can use a Terraform. If you're okay with this one, if you're satisfied with these configurations and everything's okay, then you can run Terraform apply. And I'll use the auto approve so that I don't have to manually approve it. It has to get approved manually. I mean automatically. What I'll do, team, I will give this code to you. Maybe you can try, see how it works, and just try to basically modify some code and then see how it works. And if you have any questions or queries that you have in your mind, please feel free to questions or I mean leave your comments in so that I can reach you. I mean I can help you with that. Let's get created. Okay, meanwhile, what I'll do, I'll just try to log into the Azure portal so that I can just show you once. Mm, I think it is success. Okay, it is being created now. Okay, now what do you have to know? This resource group got created. Okay, same resource group. Okay, you can see the bnet name, then NIC name, and then public IP address, then storage account name, this name, then server name, and the storage account name. So this all you have defined basically in your code. That is your. Let me just reduce it. You see here, this is a virtual machine name I given, right? Just let me copy this one. Just let me refresh. See here, this name I given. Okay, that's where I got it. Same thing if I go with the uh, public IP address, right? I can just search with this name, not with this name because this is a local name. So whatever name you update here, it will get changed. Okay. So this normally you will not use this way. You will have here you will use some variables and you update in a variable file. Not you will not basically keep just like it is. But as we learn slowly, we will learn that as well. For now, just understand this is just a in name. Okay. Normally, you will not give the value here. You will use some variable kind of things where you define there and you update only in a variable file, not in your actual code. But in your code, you have to use some variables configurations data. Okay. So let me check here. Sure. Okay. That's me are good now. So we have got everything what is needed. So you see here total 7 resources being created. How? Let me check. So now 7 we got. Now if you can see here now I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can see 6 out of 6, right? 6 resources got created along with the resource group which is 7. So okay, so total 7 resource group got created. Then once okay now we are good now. So let me check the state file now. So by default now the state file will be created now. So let me show you. Let me just refresh. Now see state file is created. Now this state file is created. Let me see. State file will have a complete data of your what whatever you have in your cloud right now, right? Whatever your resource group, everything you get data. Let's say, let me copy this resource group name. Let's say, okay, copy. I'll just search here. See here, see here, right? Resource group name. So this is basically in JSON format. You can check this one if you want to see. Basically, it is good to understand. You can see right first your network interface got created. Sorry, this is network interface data details, and we have your um, NIC name, what you give here. So all information basically you get, and this have a public IP address, you get it, and this is basically their properties, okay, attributes. And then we have it your resource group. In resource group, we can see this resource group name. So basically everything, resource account name. Okay, whatever you have in your actual infrastructure code now, because you have deployed, so the same metadata it will be available in your terraform.tf state. Okay, so now we are good now. So let me close now this one. So now what we will do, now let me log into the server first, because I just wanted to show you. Normally I will have another sessions, but for now just to demonstrate. I can access with the private IP, so I will go with the public IP. So this is my public register public IP. Huh? This is my public IP. Okay, let me copy with the public IP. Then I'll just copy public IP. Then okay. Then what is username? Username I define here. Credential, but no team. This credential also normally we will not use in your productions or anything. You not use for testing. You can use this one. Let's say if you want to work with actually in a production or any kind of project, you will basically you'll be using like a Terraform Vault is there. Either you can use the Terraform key Azure Key Wall. Okay, you can use Azure Key Wall or Terraform Wall. So depends on your use case, project's requirement, or maybe company's need. You can use that one. So sorry, I just want to copy the username here. Okay, username I copy. Then what is the password? Let me just copy the password. Okay, this is my password. Let me show you once. Sorry, not. I can see. Okay, anyway, this is password. So let me enter. All right. So as you can see now, I have logged into the server now, and you can see the screen as well. So I have logged in successfully. So basically, our infrastructure is being deployed in our Azure cloud, and we can access the server as well. Okay. So now what we need to understand is that if you want to give some tags, basically one more things, let me show you here. I think I have given huh, here tags. I have this tag, right? If you see here, tag name I given as a tag. Basically, this is what the virtual machine tag. If you go the VM, let me check virtual machine tags. We have it. This tag, dev, that is a DevOps, owner is a HR. Same thing what we have here, right? Dev department is your DevOps and owner is your HR. So basically, what I have defined in my Terraform code, the same thing I can see here. Now let me give an example. But the default behavior, this is another way of this is called as a meta argument. Okay, let me give another. This is for uh, manually manually added something manually added. Let's say just for example, showing. Okay, I just try to share. Basically, what I'm trying to do is there, or maybe you can change your disk size or anything. So I'm just trying to convey the how it basically works in Terraform, the normal behavior, in the sense the default behavior. Okay. So the default behavior, as you can see now, I have added a tag. So let me go here. Let me go back again here. So I can see, as you can see here, I have added a manually added yes. Now this is a default behavior. If I run the next time, if I run another Terraform, what you can do now? If I try, you can try Terraform refresh to check this one. Wait, let's see, just to see what changes happen. Sorry, refresh. You will get this thing. Now they will try to see the your state file. their state file, they will try to check the existing state file with your cloud, basically in your actual environment. Let's meaning what you have the code in your this one, right? In your state file, whatever you have in state file, this will be compared with your actual environment. Sorry, actual here. Sorry, not here. Here, right? This will try to in this is a cloud, right? This will try to compare with your existing infrastructure with your state file. Then based on that, they'll give you everything. Now, now see for this thing, what they'll compare it. Now, if you see now, let me show you what is your tag name. As a yes, I mentioned something, right? Just me. Let me see. Tag. I just mentioned such a tag. Sorry, what is that name? Let me copy that full name actually. Manually edit. I mean, sorry. Yeah. Yes, yeah. This is basically, if you see now, I just refresh. Refresh, what it'll do is now, if you see here, let me just see here, refresh. I didn't add now. The refresh also, as soon as I click, whatever you have code in your actual environment got updated in your Terraform. Okay. Terraform state file, I mean. In your Terraform, this was not added initially. This was added just now because I used the Terraform state file. Sorry, refresh command. So that means when I use the Terraform refresh command, what it does basically, they will go first check with your existing Terraform .tf state with your existing infrastructure, that is your cloud. So whatever changes you have in your cloud, I'll compare it. So let's say in our case, this was added manually. So they got to know now there was some changes happen in your Terraform, I mean in your cloud. So they will update in your state file. So this is one of the things which can now if you want to update, if you want to keep this tag in your state file, basically if you want to keep this one in your what do you call? Let me show better. Yeah. So if you want to keep this one as it is, what will happen is that you just first refresh you do, which we have already done refresh commands and we have updated in state file. Now from the state file, you directly come here and then update it here. That also we can do. Like example, in our case, if you want to update, basically bring it to your Terraform file. Okay. Or if you don't want, if you just want to destroy also, that also possible. You can do that also. Let me show you. Just copy paste all together maybe. Let me copy. Okay. But sorry, there's one space. Normally you don't have to give this also, it's okay. You can remove this also actually. Okay, you can remove like that also. Then what you do is you call put I think space. I can't give a space, so that's why. Okay. So if you want this thing, you can give it so that it will not take all manually edit. If I use basically, if I want to, if I have name, let's say in between one space means you have to put this colon, okay? Otherwise it will be, you have get an error. So this one, normally if you don't update here, what will happen is it will destroy. Let's so in my case, I will not save this one. Let's say I don't want this one. Let's say it is there in state file now. I did, but what I do when I run the Terraform apply 1 second, what happens? Let's see. Now that means it is there in my configuration is not there, okay, but it is got updated in state file. What you have in your manually, I mean cloud, that is available in your state file now. Let's see if I do the Terraform apply, what happens. 1 second, Terraform apply auto apply, okay. You got what happens? Let's see. Now just see how many tags are there. They have three tags, okay, including this manual tag. So what they're asking is that no. Now see minus one, right? This null. When a null mean if you see this is not available. Now what happened to change? Okay, two to change, two get changed. Now let's see. Now what happened now? Apply completes. Okay, two got changes, zero added, but two got changed. Now what is the two things? Let's see. Let me refresh. Now we see. Okay, now you understand now, right? So see, because I didn't update in my configurations, what it is for now? The first what it does basically, if you see here, the I have added another that is your manually added tag, no, that I have not added in my Terraform configuration. That is why what it was, they will first Terraform what will do, they will check with your state file with your existing cloud. Okay, existing cloud, they will check the state file based on that. But and now this was be using the refresh commands what we updated in state file, but we didn't update in our configuration file, that is Terraform configuration. So what happens now? They will try to they basically they destroy the tags because this was not available in your configuration file. But if you want to keep basically bring it in your this thing, what do you call here Terraform, what you do, you just refresh you do, then update it manually. That is the way. Okay, now you understood the behavior. That's why we can change the behavior of this Terraform. So we can use so many meta argument types. So we will learn that as well as we'll go along, right? So what we will, I'll just try to just show you another demo so that it'll be easy. Uh, Environmental type as a PRD. I say PRD, let's say. Now this PRD, what I'll do is I will update this one. Okay, now PRD is updated. What I'll do now, I will first refresh it. Before that, if I go here, state file, let me refresh the state file. I'll just try to show you this name like HR, whether you have this one or not. That is your, you see here. I have only these two, right? I have only these two. That is your owner and the department. Okay, I don't have the what I have right now, which I update. I don't have this one. That is your environment plot. That is not there. So let me bring it to Terraform state file. Always you need to make practice of doing this one. Okay. So what I do, you can use the Terraform refresh. What it will do is it will whatever you have they will compare the state file with your existing infrastructure, and whatever changes been done, they will bring it to your state file. Now let me refresh. Sorry, I think it's got updated. Yes, it is success. Now let me go back again here. I think it is close. Let me close first this one. Let me refresh. I mean, not refresh. I don't. Yes. Uh, Now you will get another tag that is be added. Sorry, it is not successful done. Terraform up refresh. Okay, it should be done. Let me refresh once again. Maybe I need to. Let me copy full name. I think that I need to copy this name. Okay. Now you can see, right? So this got updated. Okay, same thing. What you can see got updated environment and everything. So That means now if I use the Terraform refresh, whatever you have, the existing infrastructure, the modification that you have done manually will be updated in your Terraform state file. And if now is your choice, if you want to keep that as it is, then whatever based on the state file what you have in your state file, you need to update in your Terraform configuration. So in our case, I need to update this one so that in the next Terraform commit also, I will not have the basically this will not get removed. This one, okay? This tag will not be removed. So let me show you. I see here. So I can use I can remove this one also. If you want, you can remove. If you want, you can keep also. Depends on you. Both works fine. Okay. But string you need to give this one. Okay. So okay, now we understood now. So I updated this one. Now if I save this one, now what happened now? Now, if they'll compare with my Terraform configurations with my state file, they'll compare everything. If both are mesh, then they will not do anything now. Let me see. They will not destroy now. If I do what Terraform apply, so I have already saved it. Let me check 1 second. Okay, let me save. If I do apply, now whatever code is there, this is not going to remove it anymore. This is depends on the use case system. Okay. So let's in your team where they have done some manual tasks and where you want to bring it to Terraform. So in this case, this is how you can do it. But if you want to use, let's say, but people cannot change anything manually from Azure portal, that also possible. Using meta argument, you can use it. Or maybe you don't want them to destroy the server also possible. So we will learn as we go along, right? So let's see. It is successful, I think. Yes, it is successful. One to change. It is changed once because we updated this thing. Now if you see now, if I just refresh also, now you see so nothing happened because we what we did was we took the reference from the state file. We first refresh uh, refreshed it and then we updated in our state file, and from state file we update basically took the code whatever changes we want we updated in our configuration file as well. So if you, in our next Terraform configuration run also, nothing is going to destroy, so it remains same. So this is how it works. Okay. So this is one of the reason why we need to know the uh, what I call that meta argument in Terraform. So now let me destroy. I can use apply destroy or just destroy this. I can use this command also. Otherwise, you can remove this apply commands. You can just use a Terraform destroy or to approve like that. But let think too many to approve. I think I given a space. Okay, now what it'll do whenever I run this thing, if you just notice your team, um, just let me refresh. If this is the, let me delete this first. Okay, because before we destroyed it. Now what happens whenever I destroy the server, basically the not server, anything, any resources, what it'll do is first it will take the backup of your this one, that is your state file. They'll take the backup with the extension as state file dot backup. Okay. Once you take the backup, whatever you have the existing configurations, like your meta argument, sorry, metadata will be backed up if you see here now. Okay, now it got changed now. Just let me refresh because now if you see our infrastructure has been successful, I think it is still being it is still being destroyed. Okay, see whatever is showing, or this is all going to be destroyed. So what we'll do now? See one more got created. That is your Terraform. Same thing if you see with the extension dot s sorry dot backup. So in dot backup, basically what it has, whatever existing you have a configuration file, no? I mean your state file, your existing state file will be backed up first. Once it is backed up successfully, and they are trying to destroy. Once they destroy, Once they destroy the whatever the resources, again they'll go back to the state file and update it as null because there's nothing no resource to be managed. So they'll update that as well. So let me just wait for 2 minutes, then we can understand that as well. Normally it takes time for destroying this infrastructure. So let's wait. So what we will do, team, in our next class, I'm going to explain you whatever I've written here. I'm going to demonstrate everything one by one, so that let's say in our career virtual machines, the NIC, and then we have the internet network interface, the public IP address. Okay, these all how we can use it, how we can refer each other, right? So I'm gonna explain you that maybe in our next sessions. Okay. For now, you just understand how the basically the Terraform meta arguments and how basically works in the backend. Okay, I think it is still okay. Let's wait. Meanwhile, I'll just log out from the existing server. It got destroyed. Okay, now let me refresh this one. Okay, I think it got destroyed. Let me. Resource group is there, but then okay, resource group is there, but nothing is there. Okay, it is showing as deleting. So this is also going to be deleted now. So you see here resource group, right? It is if you see here resource group, it is deleting or destroying. Okay. Meanwhile, let it get deleted. What you do before that, I think it will take maybe another two. It is successful. Okay. As you can see now, all resource being destroyed. Okay, that means I don't have anything in our cloud now. So let me just refresh it. See, it is gone. So I don't have the risk. I'm showing, but it's not. It takes time to reflect, so it is gone now. Okay. So I don't have any resource group now, which I have. So what I'll do now, let me just show you. Now if I go back here, let me just refresh this as well, just to understand Steam. Okay. Now you see here two files, same name, terraform.tfstate and terraform.tfstate.backup. Okay, one is backup. This was actually the one what was existing first in our infrastructure, in the sense in our cloud. If you see now also, you can check here. Same dot backup extension, if you dot backup extension. Okay, whatever I can see the code, your network interface name, then behavior, public network interface name. This is, let me calm down. Public IP address, right? Then we have it storage account. So basically all the first thing. Then we have basically everything what you have already deployed in your cloud. So those information subnet, like example. Okay. So those information will be uh, updated here. Basically, they will take the backup of your existing before destroying, and they will store here with the dot backup extension. And if you see now in the dot here, you see the size. This is 22 KB. This is only 1 KB. So if you go here, you don't have anything because you see null because everything got deleted. Okay. So now we understood, right? Whenever we destroy the server or so not any resources, I mean, the Terraform will first take the backup of your existing state file. Once it is backed up, then they destroy. Okay. Once they destroy this thing, they will update the Terraform, the existing Terraform.tf state. They will update. That means you don't have anything right now because they have updated. Okay. So, all right, team. So that's all for today's sessions. I hope you guys be able to understand. And I'm trying to maybe in our next sessions, what I'll do is I will give some other demo as well. I mean, I'm gonna explain everything that is required for you to understand. Example, these all things you will be learning, like credentials, variables, how to write variables, everything I'm going to give you a demo in the next class. All right. So stay tuned. Till then, you take it. God bless and have a nice day.